Okay, so at the end I'll be giving you a scalp massage. Would you prefer me to wash my hands before I touch your hair and scalp?
No, that's
You
fine.
don't mind? Yeah, lovely. Okay. So as we've just been saying, I've now mixed a lovely aromatherapy concoction of ylang ylang, petitgrain, and sweet thyme. And that mix is just so lovely for all manner of reasons. So ylang ylang is one I use quite a lot of actually, and it's good for sleep. It's also good for the skin, and I didn't tell you this, but it's also an aphrodisiac. And then we've got petitgrain, because I thought, well, it's still daytime, it's still just about light outside, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And so petitgrain is more of a top note. It's a beautiful floral. It's the flower from the orange blossom. So petitgrain's got a lovely floral note to it. And then we've got thyme, because it's late November, we're going into winter, just in case there are any bugs and germs going around. It's always worth protecting ourselves with some beautiful thyme. So I'm massaging it into the lungs, helping you breathe it through the body. Okay, Helen, so 3 nice long breaths. So I can see you've got a few cut marks here from the core treatment that we've just done, but they're looking okay. And then I'm just working my fingers and the top of my palm through the gap of your scapula and neck, pushing that soft tissue forwards towards the cervical lymph factory, then round the deltoid, and just describing the edge of that scapula there to help shift any lymph that might be sitting, not moving. Same on this side, round that scapula. 2 thumbs upwards and over. And the whole spine. I particularly like surrounding the whole back. So I'm coming up over the shoulder points and down the very sides of the torso, just lightly, and then applying the pressure upwards over the erector spinae, including the neck. Got my fingers all the way over the shoulders to the front of the couch and then down lightly. That is the best effleurage to receive, one that encompasses the whole back, not excluding any area. And now working into the separate sections working underneath the scapula, just touching the bottom of the wingtips there. And then the base of the ribs, over the kidneys, the waist, using my whole body to apply pressure rather than just applying pressure locally through the arms. Coming down to the couch. And finally over the pelvis, widening, smoothing, separating hands away from each other so that they really work into the soft tissue, the fascia of this beautiful area. Contains such an important part of us, our pelvic girdle. In core therapy, I see the pelvis is accountable frequently for issues that go on in the body. We really need to look after our pelvis, make sure it's aligned, make sure it's healthy and massaged, especially this area here, which is the very base of the spine, the sacrum. I'm using my thumbs at the moment just to have a feel and a sense of what's going on over the top of that flat plate of bone. And then using my knuckles, so pushing deeply into this area. Stretching them away from each other. To agitate any of those toxins that sit upon that sacrum, encouraging them to move away to the lymph factory that sits just down here in the groin area, called the inguinal lymph factory. And then over the top of the glutes, glute medius. And then more into glute maximus. And then touching the iliac, the sides of the hips, coming round to the front. Can feel a little bit sensitive there. And then smoothing. Now working up the erector spinae. Just locating each vertebra, and I'm applying pressure above and below each vertebra on just the one side, on Helen's left hand side at the moment, and with each gentle out breath just applying a little more pressure, and therefore this encourages space between the structure, but also stimulates the nerve endings, stimulates the lymph to release, encourages space for the circulation, the red blood cells, and for the cerebral spinal fluid. Such a vital action, and yet so seemingly simple. And then one thumb tip facing the other, slowly feeling and gently pushing down the left channel on the side of the spine, very slowly coming down all the way. Back to the right hand side. And then repeating the action, coming down. Left side, thumb tip to thumb tip with a little gap in between. Moving very slowly. This feels so good to receive. All the way down to the base. And then coming back up to ensure the body is warm after a moment of less action. And then a scissoring action, as in the aromatherapy massage style. And this is just on the very surface of the skin, a superficial surface which is just underneath the skin itself, where the lymph nodes and all the lymph circulation, the white blood cells, sit, and just very gently working them from the spine up over the ribs and scapula down to the sides of the torso. In a nice straight line. You will have seen me do this before many times in aromatherapy massages. That's it, just agitating between my thumbs, nice and gently over the very surface. And gently encouraging the lymph out over to the axillary lymph node that sits in the armpit, and then from here to all those lymph nodes that sit to the side of the body. This is why we encourage clients to have a glass of water after a treatment, because that will help that eradication of all the lymph and toxins that have been scooped up with the massage. And now more strongly overlapping alternate hands from the spine outwards, starting strong at a good speed. Including the arm. And now more slowly and slightly lighter, more frequent hands. Even lighter. Out, away. Beautiful. Down the arm, and then more lightly, in more of a compassionate action, really caring, with plenty of intention, knowing what's happening just under the surface of the skin. I quite like using opposite hands here, because then we can come back to cross many times over the body. It just feels so nice to receive up to the neck and down the arms, and finishing with a nice long spinal stretch right up to the occiput.